but I ain't backing down. Esta noche vuelo, esta noche vuelo. All my demons breaking, ain't no hesitate. Esta noche vuelo, watch me as I rise. All this medicine running through my bloodline. Ancestros que llame.
A bit of an adventure to get down to the river today. Hoping to get private access and going, just talking to locals to get their permission, which was a little bit nerve-wracking for me. I've come from Norway, which is very free with your land access rights. But then also my mind is almost this aggressive Australian mindset for private property, and I don't know if it is dogs or the owners in Australia which can be more aggressive when it comes to private property. But here in Colombia, I just had to really trust Laura with even the different culture of the dogs. They're barking but not biting, and now we've got permission to go through this abandoned farmhouse to get to the river for a bit. But just an interesting process for me to be a bit more passive and trusting with the direction that we're going in, and primarily leave planning aside.
Get home at dawn, mixing hugs with song, teaching me to see what the plants can bring through her fingertips. Ancient knowledge slips, and she tells me slow, child, you need to know all the ways to heal, all the ways to grow. Her hands knew the ancient ways, moving through the morning haze. Every cure she made with love, blessing from the stars above. By the fire's light, sacred smoke takes flight, watching as she prays.
Vamos. I always check the floor before we leave, or I leave somewhere, because it's easy to leave something behind, like a phone or a key or whatever. It just pops out and you don't know. So it's very good practice to just check it. And I always call the forest floor the floor, because it's short for the forest floor, and that's a more interesting way to look at it. Like, we call the floor in our home the floor, and we can foster a relationship where this can feel like a home as well.
Gonna give me a chance to prove hitting different now. Got me questioning how, my head's spinning around, but I ain't backing down. Esta noche vuelo, esta noche vuelo. All my demons breaking, ain't no hesitate. Esta noche vuelo, watch me as I rise. All this medicine running through my bloodline.
Ancestros que llame.
I am in Barichara, Colombia, which is a old colonial village up in the mountains, several hours out of any major city in this country. And I was actually guided in my time in Colombia after ayahuasca. So this by listening to her, there's just been a few beautiful things open up for me. My personal assistant and good friend Bram has lived in this town, and we've been working quite closely with each other for almost a year now, talking most days of the week and going through a bit of a journey with each other, and sharing personal experiences and challenges and moments of pride, as well as achieving requirements within our business. He built a website, he helped me organize things in the Arctic. So it's been really beautiful to be invited into his family and his life here, and also as a great way for me to be exploring my integration post ayahuasca, slowly and softly stepping into emails again, booking accommodation, those kind of requirements that are generally quite in the mind. But I allowed myself to just plan phase by phase, which is some of the guidance from ayahuasca. I used to create safety by planning a lot further ahead, and having more control over my itinerary and the facilities I had access to. I met a beautiful woman who really spoke to my heart, and we explored love with each other and devoted time to be with each other. And that was a very nourishing, soul and heart nourishing experience for me. One, in the sense of just trusting how my life is unfolding, and from ayahuasca, from God, spirit, whatever we want to call it, but then also for me to just have such a meaningful and nourishing relationship. We had I wouldn't call it a language barrier, because it didn't even feel like a barrier at all. I don't speak Spanish, she doesn't speak English, and so then we're invited into such a different form of communication with just listening to our energy and our bodies and going off the cues of our physiology. Yeah, we used technology sometimes to help us, but it was such a beautiful exploration for me. Part of the challenge I've had in romantic relationships previously has been my dependence on communication, and that I have been attracting and evoking the characteristics from women who have not yet met clear communication within a relationship. I've attracted women that haven't been able to communicate effectively with me, and then to be in a relationship with a woman where the language is completely different, but there's somehow just feel at peace and safe and at home. It was so exciting and lighthearted at the same time that it was just so deep and meaningful. It has allowed for quite an expansion for me to sit with the question further: what is love, and how have I put parameters or labels around love previously? I know that, the concept of true love is something which I would say is often put within a certain container, maybe this kind of Disney container, or what gets communicated on Instagram. And I think that women can be more vulnerable to what true love is through those avenues. And then to sit with myself to realize that true love is always there, and love is love, and love doesn't need to do anything. Love doesn't need to change or to act in a certain way or to be self-sacrificial, because underneath everything is love. And within myself, if I sit with my demons long enough, if I sit with judgment, if I sit with frustration or attachment, I can realize that love is underneath all of that, but the onus is on me to have the patience to sit there. And I just feel like I've been rewarded so much with such a beautiful experience of love with this woman. Where have I limited love before? Because I have allowed other people's opinions to craft my perspective of what love is or how love should look. For me, romantic love is the tip of the iceberg of love, and that's often where the primary focus can be, is on that feeling of love, that excitement of love. And that is beautiful and that is amazing, and I was able to bask in that with this beautiful woman, Laura. But love is so much more than those feelings, because it's everything. It's this primordial creation energy. Love is patience, love is forgiveness, love is tolerance, love is devotion, love is sacrifice. Love is self-discipline. Love is perseverance. Love is life. Love is the creator of life. There is a beautiful saying, and it's something like, I sat with my anger long enough to realize it was sadness, something like that. And then when we sit with sadness enough, that's enough. To just sit with that emotion is inviting love in, and that is something so powerful about the mother's love. The love of the mother in a spiritual concept, and every mother does this. Every mother is a healer. Every mother does this, and that is to just hold an upset child and knowing that there is nothing that can be done and nothing needs to be solved, but it's just enough to hold this child emotionally while they are upset. And that is love, and that is healing, and that is this deep love that we maybe not all get to experience consistently, but it is there for all of us. And the invitation is for us to allow that in within ourselves, to hold ourselves and know that we don't need to be fixed. It's okay. All of these emotions that we feel, sadness, anger, frustration, lost, whatever it is an invitation for us to be with that. And by being with that, we're loving that, which allows it to alchemize, to transcend, to grow. I've done such a good job over the last months and years to really step into learning to love myself so deeply that way, with the mother's love. And I really feel like Laura has just been a manifestation of me deserving that love that I got to receive and feel from her. And it was so fun and beautiful, and I'm just so grateful. Grateful for love, grateful for life, grateful for Laura, and grateful for myself for showing up and persevering and never giving up. But it is a great question to finish with. Where have I limited love? Where have I labeled love? Where have I constricted love with attachment? Where have I rejected love because it hasn't fit into certain ideals or parameters? What has shaped my perspective of love? What external influences? Disney, Instagram, Hollywood. Is this where I allow my education of love to come from?
Yeah.
Hola.
Hey man.
It's nice to see you. Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. You're welcome.
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Last day?
Yeah. I go soon. Very soon.
Do you go tonight or?
In like half an hour.
Bro.
Got your
Have
partner.
a good trip? Yes man.
Beautiful. Hola.
Hola.
Yeah.
Thanks bro and have a good trip.
Ciao.
Ciao man.
Bye. And that there is just such a beautiful example of love. That was Bram's brother, Thijs. and I first met him a couple of days ago, and just watching him at the party, the way he interacted with the children, that's his partner there, hearing the stories of their relationship. And his partner is quite a lot older than him, which is something that I personally wouldn't step into. I have a preference of younger partners, but for him that has been such a loving experience and a catalyst for him to transcend his character, for him to become the highest self, for him to actualize. And that is something beautiful about these unions that we step into so openly, is there is an invitation in a union to transcend our individuality into a union that serves both of the individuals and the relationship itself, therefore echoing love into our social network, into who we interact with. I am love. I deserve love. I deserve to be me. That's it from me. Back to you in the studio. Choo, 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 choo.
In her room at dawn, mixing herbs with song, teaching me to see what the plants can bring. Through her fingertips, ancient knowledge slips, and she tells me slow, child, you need to know. All these hands know the ancient ways, moving through the morning haze. Every cure I make with love, blessing from the stars. You're my